joined today by a Millwall legend. He needs no further introduction, Tony Cascarino. Tony, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dan.
You signed for Millwall in '87 from Gillingham. You scored a lot of goals for Gillingham. Why did you sign for Millwall? You must have had a lot of other interest.
I did. I spoke to Leeds and Ipswich at the same time. Then I come to meet John Doherty at the Den, the old Den. He wouldn't let me out of the office. Literally trapped me. Give me a few vodka and orange juices as well. Talked about who he wanted to play alongside. He said, "Kev, want to play you alongside the lad Sheringham, who was 22 at the time." And the previous season, I'd watched a lot of Millwall with my friends. So I was playing for Gillingham, but watching Millwall. And liked the look of Teddy. I thought, something different. And they talked about the other signings that are coming to the football club as well. Georgie Lawrence, Kevin O'Callaghan, Stevie Wood. You know, quite a number of players were mentioned. And I don't know why. You don't get that feeling that something special is going to happen, that something's going to develop. And lo and behold, I signed, and 2.5 years to nearly 3 years I was there.
Yeah, well, something special did happen. So some of my earliest memories, my man first took me in '85, so I've grown up sort of 8 years old, 9 years old, watching your era. How did that feel to be part of like the most successful Millwall side of all time? Because that's where you are.
Well, it's always strange for me going to Millwall because a lot of my friends were Millwall fans. I'd watched the 70s team in the Kitcheners, the Donaldson, Harry Cripps. I'd seen all them. I used to go and watch Millwall quite a lot because it was my local team. And my dad was from the Elephant and Castle, so you know it was literally on the doorstep. And it felt quite weird that I'd signed, and I didn't play well initially. In the opening probably 4 to 6 games, I didn't really hit the ground running. And
it takes time to settle.
Well, it did, but I didn't. I think John Doherty didn't think I was fit enough. You know, he really worked hard on me. Yeah. He trained me, Terry Ehrlich and Brian Hall, bless us, the three of us. After training had finished, he would call all of us together and go, "You three ain't going home yet. You've got another 45 minutes of running." To be fair, I think all of us benefited, and me especially, because I was a good athlete when I was fit. If I was, like most big centre forwards, if you're slightly off your game physically, you can look a bit cumbersome, awkward, and I benefited from the extra training.
Right, and then obviously we won the league, the second division. We went into what would now be the Premier League. Yeah. The 1988-89 season, we finished 10th. They were good times. A massive part of that was your strike partnership with Teddy Sheringham.
Yes, yeah.
It obviously worked off on the pitch. Did it work off the pitch? You get on
well? No, we get on really well. Got a lot of time for Ted. We had loads of conversations with him. We played golf together. We played poker together. We talked football. I was around him when he was at Stevenage. You know, not in any working capacity, just seeing how he was doing it, and you know, seeing how focused he was trying to get the job right. He isn't there now, but I don't believe it will be a long time before Ted's back in football. I was surprised at how much he put in, I must be honest, because everyone knows that Ted's likes life and likes to play golf and enjoy himself, and he was so focused on management that it even took me back. So
when you played together, did you make you do like try and get you together occasionally, like the club try and get you to do stuff together as a couple almost?
No, Ted was 22 and I was 25, so I was the record fee. And when I first played my debut for Millwall, I can remember playing the game and Teddy was ordering me around on the pitch, and I'm thinking, Millwall just paid a record fee for me, will you stop ordering me around? And we had a bit of a sort of ding dong, but nothing, you know, just a few words exchanged. And I felt maybe I should be ordering you around a bit, but I think Ted's a good talker. Yeah, he talks really well on the pitch, and we sort of chatted. And Ted would be one that if I said something, he would give an answer back, and vice versa. And we always stay close. I think we enjoyed playing together, and we saw some rough times. We had some great times, and to be fair, he established himself at Millwall. That's where he did. And the thing of when I left, Teddy had the best season after I left. So maybe I was keeping him down.
Well, maybe. We've just got a clip here. I was going to show a quick clip. Obviously, not only was you part of the first ever Millwall team to play on the top flight, you also scored our first and second goals against a club like joined Aston Villa.
Taken by O'Callaghan. Cascarino! Tony Cascarino has already put his trademark on the First Division. with 20 minutes gone. Oh, there's a mistake by a rather nervy Alan Evans. Sheringham finding doors. It's Cascarino again. He's scored again. This is incredible.
Obviously, that was what a great side. You see Dorsey there, he was a great little winner. How was Docky as a manager? Did he have control of everyone? I want to know everything. I want to know about Erlock. I want to know the lot. But start with the Doc. What was the Doc like? Was he a big, authoritative Scotsman?
Very loyal to people he liked and loved in his team. Obviously, Terry, Les Briley, Rhino, Teddy, myself, Woody, loads of us.
Think about that team now. You still get the goosebumps.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Well, Doc was very loyal to that team. Maybe a tad too loyal because it obviously. Now, when you get success for a group, we all signed new contracts. We all got better deals. We all, grew together in the top flight. That Villa game that we just saw, for me getting 2 goals in my Premier League debut or Division 1 as it was then, it was a special day, and even a special night because we all went out in the club in Swanley, which is no deja vu. We were all in that night. I got chucked out.
It's a beef eater now. You got thrown out.
I got thrown out, by the bouncers, threw me out. I was completely drunk, but wanted to fight everybody. So that was a good night. We had a great bond between us. We had a reunion, funny enough, not with everybody, but about 9 or 10 players. Sean Sparham, David Thomas, Stevie Wood, myself, Orney, Teddy. Obviously others couldn't get there, but we just had a bit of a drink together, which was lovely. Yeah, so nice seeing.
With football, you end up split apart from people, and it's good to get
acquaintances, and we done a lot together. One time we were top of the league. I remember.
Unbelievable.
Being top of the league and that feeling.
I was 8
You're going to make me feel old, man. Stop mentioning your age. That makes me 1,000.
So, I mean, good side, everything must come to an end, all good things. You eventually left the club for Aston Villa.
Yeah.
For a 1.1.
Yeah.
It was a lot of money then.
It was, and it was a difficult one because I didn't ask to leave. Millwall said, we've accepted a bid for Aston Villa. And as a player, you're always stereotyped, aren't you? As you demanded, you throwed your toys, you're demanding to leave because the club's going down. The club was, on the brink of Bob Pearson taking over. We were going to go down, and we were very close to, by the end of March. So I had a decision to make, and I took a week over it, come back to the club, and Graham Mortop, who was the secretary at the time, said, "You've got to go." I had no choice. So when I played against Millwall for Villa in a cup game.
Get grief.
And all the Millwall fans singing Judas at me. It felt really strange because it was like you want to say to them, I didn't ask to leave them. I didn't ask to go. I was told I had to go.
There you go.
So and it was a club that I had a lot of affection for.
Yeah. So could you give us, without stitching anyone, one dressing room story from your time at Millwall?
There was a number, Dan. To be fair, I think the one that sticks out in my mind is when we played Wimbledon at the Old Den, and they had a feisty team at that time. People like Vinny Wisey, John Fashanu were in the team, and the first time I think Teddy gets sent off in the opening period, and it was just heated. And when we were doing corners and that, John Fashanu was telling me, "Come pick me up, big man. Come on, just giving it a lot to me." And I sort of didn't say too much, and I sort of battled away with him and carried on. It got to half time. We walked down the tunnel, which went sideways in them days. We didn't go straight down. We're in there, he comes up and he pinches me bum, John Fashanu. And I don't know more, just because I knew Terry Erlock was next to me, I stuck my nut on him. Well, it sort of got a bit skirmishy, and we sort of got into the dressing room, and Terry Erlock was loving every minute of it, and he came up and he went, "I can't believe he done that." He started kissing my hand. Like the Godfather. I felt like Don Corleone.
Was he as hard as everyone made out Tell? Erlock?
Well, he could be if he lost it. Tell was a fiery. He was, fiery bugger, Terry, if he lost it. But he was also very soft and sensitive. There was a side to Terry, very, very funny. Yeah. Witty guy, Terry. I loved his company. But if you saw his sort of half flick and change, you could see. But ever since then, he's always, every time I meet him, and I don't see Tell that often, unfortunately, he always kisses my hands. It's like that moment, and I'm sort of said to Tell, "I only done it because you were there. If you weren't there, I weren't there butting Fash, he'd have killed me." But he was a great mate to be around. Terry was always up, whatever you talk about commitment, and very underrated as a player.
Yeah, well, I think he's very, very decent. Our whole team's underrated, I think. But moving on to the team of now, do you still get a chance to get down the Den?
I did last year, and I was quite a bit disillusioned under Ian Holloway. I didn't like formations.
We all did.
The lads, Sid Nelson. Now, when he was made captain after 3 games as an 18-year-old, I didn't get that at all. I saw he played Bradford at home, he drew 3-3, and Fuller scored 2 and was left out in replay, he got beat 4-0. It was just loads of things that I thought were wrong at the club, and I did sort of make my feelings vocal to certain people at the club. It fell on deaf ears, but eventually they did get rid of Ian, and
Neil Harris?
Well, I thought it was the right fit. I thought they had to have a connection. I thought Millwall lost their identity as a club, and I always wanted Teddy to have a go at that job. I thought it was the right job for Teddy at the right time. And it wasn't the right time after Ian, and I think Neil was certainly that. I think Neil's done a great job in organising them, setting them up, and found a partnership in Gregory and Morrison. Steve Morrison, I was very dubious about that period because I just felt he'd earned a lot of money, had some good moves, and lost a little bit of hunger.
Yeah, looks like he's rock up his arse now.
Yeah, it looks like he's found it. He's found himself again, and realising maybe because he knows his days is in the twilight of his career that he's got an opportunity, but it's worked. He's found a partnership deal, and that has certainly paid huge dividends this year.
Do you think we can go up?
I don't see a reason why. Why not? Because the team has got better as the season's gone on. Very indifferent start, wasn't it? Some real
very inconsistent arm, but we seem to have cracked that now.
Yeah, and I don't think when I've seen you at home, I've not. The style's been quite not Millwall, sitting off slightly, letting the team have it in certain positions, and that's fitted. I would like to think that we can progress it and then start to play on the front foot and make it a bit more where you're going to have to win games differently, because teams do watch you, they do suss you out, and they might not say, look, these will sit off you, so don't panic. I think there's things that Neil can move the team on with, and I think they're going to have to, but there's a great chance of Millwall not only get to the playoffs, but might even get automatic if they can keep what they're doing at the moment.
I'm strong, we've always been like that, but I'm a strong believer we're in a full side division, we can do it. Finally, Tony, what you want to tell the viewers what you're up to now? I know you do talk sport.
Well, I do a bit of it. I work for the Times, I do the Irish Sun, I go to Ireland regularly to do many different functions. I work for BetDac, a sports betting company. I do so many different stuff, like Sky Sports News. I sometimes talk sport. A bit of a media guru. Yeah, I'm everywhere. But I've always had a lot to say. I always enjoyed doing media work. Some days I regret that I never went down the coaching road, but I think if the right door opened, it might have made an easier decision, but that never really happened.
Stress-free this way though for you.
Well, it is stress-free, and I always think with a club, you've got to have an identity with a club most times. I think that's what works for clubs especially like Millwall, and I think they've gone away from that until really Neil, and that has been the ultimate difference for me from where they were in the last few years, where they are now.
Thanks for your time, Tom. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, mate. Thank you.